Hello, 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 everybody. Super excited to be here. Got my voice back. Thank goodness. So excuse me. Just taking a look. It's rainy. Well, rainy's a good quilting day, Jeannie. You're so right. Missouri. Oh, Carla, how did you break your arm? That's not right. Oh gosh. Okay, we've got quite a few. Anyway, so thank you guys all so much. I got a lot of personal messages last week about my voice. It's still not 100%, but it's pretty darn good compared to what it was. So glad to be back. So I thought we could talk about bindings today, and it's something funny that I didn't really think about for quite a while, but I used to always do my bindings by hand, right? It's just, I don't know. I just would sit there in front of the TV or whatever, and I would stitch my bindings by hand. And now that I've got still a pile of quilts that need to be bound, it's not my most favorite thing to do. So it tends to just kind of sit around and wait. Throw it in the chat if you're like me. Anyway, so lately I've tried a couple different bindings, and I thought that I would share with you I found my favorite. So I'm going to change my camera view and let me know. Hopefully my tech is still working. Sometimes you never know. Excuse me. So I'm going to change it, and here we go. So this particular one, wait, that's not the one I wanted to show you first. This is the one I wanted to show you first. Sorry. I got quite a few quilts here. So again, this is my typical binding where I stitch it on the front, and then I flip it over to the back, and then I hand stitch it. Okay. I'm not sure why that little box keeps appearing, but who knows? Anyway, so that's typically what I've always done. And I would say I've been quilting since 97, and almost, I'd probably say 95% of my quilts, this is the binding they got, right? So then probably last year maybe, and I was probably talking about it to some people, I switched, right? So for my samples that it didn't really matter, this is a good example, is I stitched it to the front, I flipped it over to the back, and what I actually did was I glued it onto the back, and then I came and I stitched in the ditch here so that it catches the back here. I'm not in love with how that looks. Let me see if I can get you guys in closer. I'm not in love with how that looks, right? Because then you've got this little piece kind of up. And then every once in a while, and I don't think I did it on this particular one, but I won't catch the back. So typically when I do this, I cut my bindings a little bit more than 2.5 inches, right? My normal binding that I just showed you, these are normally 2 1/4, and I pull nice and tight. So those are typically 2 1/4, whereas this is going to be 2.5. I'm glad to know, Wendy, thank you, that I am not the only one that does not like bindings. Now, I was playing around with a couple stitches. Let me get these out of the way, and I'll pull in. So I was playing around because, again, this is a sample. So I was like, okay, great to play around with it. And this particular one, I actually stitched, let me think about this. No. Yep. I stitched it to the back, flipped it over to the front. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom in. Hold on, give me a second. And see if I can zoom in a little bit closer on that. Yeah. Okay. So sewed it to the back, flipped it to the front, and then I found this decorative stitch on my Bernina, which I was like, oh, okay, I really like that. And I like it because it kind of gives a little something on the binding, and then on the back, I'm not so worried that it'll kind of come over onto here. Do you know what I mean? Again, these are samples, so you could see here I did the same thing. Now, I guess you could, if you really wanted to, you could stitch it to the front, flip it to the back, and really get right in there to make the back look perfect. But I was more concerned with how the front actually looked. Let me move that out of the way. Sorry about that. So I liked that one, but guess what? I was so excited that I found a different one. Now, this is a sample from my Design Academy. So again, it's a sample. But I loved this one. Can you see that? I love, love, love this one. And there it is on the back. So I think really that's my new binding for utility quilts. Again, I ended up stitching this to the front and flipping this one to the back. So I'm still kind of experimenting as to, do I want to sew it to the front, the back, and which way to flip it. But this one I definitely, maybe the other one I did too. Let's take a look. No, that one I did that way. Yeah, so this one you can tell because it's got this little, I'm not even where you could see it, right here. Do you know what I mean? On the back. So I loved this, loved it, loved it, loved it. And so I think that this is going to be my new go-to stitch for doing bindings. Loved it. Do you guys have a favorite stitch? How do you guys all do yours? I'm curious to know. So let me come back here. I'm just going to pop into the comments to see. Hello, hello, hello. We've had more people join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, first quilt, Jeannie, you did hand sew, yuck, okay. Now I sew to the back, top stitch from the front always. I've tried sewing to the front and gluing the back and seeing like, yeah, I didn't love it. Yeah. And Jeannie, it might have been you that suggested that I do a decorative stitch. I don't know who it was, but I will tell you, like, hands down, I am a convert. I absolutely love it. Good. So, okay, so Janet, you used the same one. Okay, hold on. Wendy, let's see. Have you used the Bernina 71 foot for sewing in the binding? I discovered this foot a couple months ago. I have not. Wait, I got to write that down. 71 foot. Which, Wendy, if you're still on, what foot actually is that? Now I'm going to have to look that up online. Let's see. 71. I probably have it. I have so many feet. All right. Okay. I'm going to have to check that out. Thank you, Wendy. Arlene, you do a flange binding. I've done a couple of them with, I think it's called the Piping Hot Binding Tool. Who was that? I think that's what it called. And I love the flange. I think that's really cool. Yeah, so Joanne, you're absolutely right. So if I'm doing a show quilt, I'm doing it the first way. I'm sewing it to the front, I'm flipping it over, and I'm hand stitching to the back. But for samples, yeah, I'm so like super stoked about this because I can get them done so much faster. And I didn't realize Pfaff had a binding tool. That's pretty cool. I bought a binding tool, oh my gosh, it was so many moons ago at a quilt show. And, you know, it was a complete mess. I thought it was going to be the best thing in the world. This did not work for me at all. So I gave that up. Okay, thanks, Marlene. I will definitely check out the YouTube videos for the 71 foot. I'm writing that down. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to check that out. It's called a flat felled foot. Okay, did not know that. Okay, that it looks like I know what I'm doing this afternoon. I'm going to check that out, and I might be purchasing a new foot. So anyway, I just thought I'd come on and throw that out that like I am now in love with that stitch for my bindings. So love it, love it, love it. I am in the process, and I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I'm in the process of doing a whole cloth. I have my fabric. I have my top fabric. I'm actually doing Radiance by Robert Kaufman. It's like a light blue. And I'm doing a Deborah Linker dye for my backing. My thread is on the way. I'm super excited. I've decided just to use Aurifil 50 weight thread for probably the entire thing. And so I will keep you posted on that as I kind of progress through. So I was kind of thinking that maybe some of these Mondays, instead of me doing like a live on some specific topic, I have the capability. I got it set up a couple months ago where I'm just going to kind of go live with me in my sewing room, just doing whatever it is that I'm doing that day. As many of you know, I'm struggling to get my mojo back. So I thought, you know what? Instead of me saying, okay, at 1 o'clock, I'm going to go live, sometimes that interrupts whatever it is that I'm doing. And I thought, well, if I just go live from my sewing room with whatever I'm doing at that particular time, maybe I'll do that. So sometimes I'll be on my sewing machine, sometimes I'll be at the cutting table, sometimes I'll be at my machine. So I'm toying with that idea. Let me know what you think about it. If you're like, oh, hell no, Lisa, don't do it. We like these. They're definitely less structured. You guys could pop in and ask questions, and I'll look every, so often to see if you guys have questions. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. So trying to get that mojo back. All right. I'm out. I'm working on content for Tribe for next month. So I'm kind of doing 2 months at the same time because I'm going to be off to Italy at the end of September. So I'm doing heirloom feathers and I'm doing swags. So those are going to be, I don't know which one's coming first. Haven't decided that one yet. So, and then I have a special guest coming for November. So I'm super excited about that. So if you're unfamiliar with Tribe, hop on over to elisahkaye.com. You can sign up there. There is a plethora of information in Tribe and classes galore. So if you're at all interested, check it out. I'm going to be out. I'm going to go put decided to put a border on my little log cabin quilt that I've been working on. And so that's what I'm going to do this afternoon. So guys, have a great day. Go out there, and if for some reason you're using a different stitch than me for your binding and I have to know about it, just post it on the Quilters Groove Facebook page with a picture because I'm all for it. All right, you guys, have a great day, and I will see you next week.